This is a special edition of the Technology Pulse podcast from Daily Computers. This episode is brought to you by the Virginia Information Technologies Agency and the Daily Technology Showcase. For more information, visit www.daly.com/DTS2023. And now here's your host, Rick from Daily.
I'm talking to Greg Skierce today, and Greg is with VITA. And Greg, what does VITA stand for?
Stands for the Virginia Information Technologies Agency.
And I would have gotten that wrong because I would have said association. So I'm already 0 for 1. Greg, thanks so much for joining us today. So Greg, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Daily Technology Showcase. Now, you've attended these events in the past, correct?
Correct. Multiple events.
I was going to ask, how many showcases have you gone to?
If I had to guess here, I probably have gone to every one since probably 2000 and either 6 or 7. And I only missed the ones for COVID that I can remember.
Oh, excellent. Want to get your perspective on the showcase as far as why, because we at Daily, of course, sit here and tout that this really should be a must-attend event or a can't-miss event. But you've obviously gone to multiple of these, so you really do embody that. Can you tell people why you feel it's important for them to attend this type of event?
So from a procurement person or someone who's actually doing the buying, this to me is a meet and greet event to where you can see a whole bunch of suppliers in one room here. You can see what's coming, what they currently have. You can talk to them about, hey, look, I have this specific need. How can you help me with that? You can also then schedule meetings afterwards for them to come to your places of business there and help them understand your situations even more. So you can look to see who has what contracts available to it. And that's probably an even bigger important thing to when you're talking with these suppliers going, okay, if I can buy your stuff, what contract vehicle do you have that available for me to buy it? So that way I don't have to go out there and do my own procurement, because that saves a whole lot of time when these procurement folks like myself or buyers are coming to these events going, okay, I want to procure this widget from you. How can I do that without having to put this out for competition? Also, I call it a meet and greet of the sales reps opportunity, because back in the last few years, we haven't had that opportunity. And now it's just coming back to the game here where we can actually go and actually the salespeople are coming back into their offices. We're now starting to meet those people. But there for a long while, we were just having the phone conversations or emails chatting to get whatever we needed at that point in time.
Yeah, that FaceTime, now that's reintroduced into the equation, I have heard from a lot of people that that's really invaluable because yes, you could do a Teams call or a Zoom call or a Ring Central call. You can talk to people over a screen all you want, but there's nothing like that face-to-face, shake hands, have that discussion right there in person. No virtual component can ever come close to that.
No, and you also then start, when you have those face-to-face conversations in your own environment, you start opening up more to the supplier and they start asking more in-depth questions for you to go, okay, what solutions can I help you with? What else have you got here? Walk me around. Show me what areas of concern you have here, whether it's printing, audio, visual, whatever the case is, that you can actually, they can actually see this without having to either take pictures, or they can actually see the products or solutions that you're trying to replace or add on to.
And, speaking of your organization, Daily recently became one of very few contract holders to be able to resell the AWS services on the VITA contract. And again, it's having something even new to talk about because AWS is just this huge umbrella of services.
Correct. Yes. I mean, again, that's another aspect for people that if you don't go to these kind of events, you don't know what new awards are out there. We do this all the time. We VITA itself, we go to other venues and we talk about, hey, look, here, do you know we've awarded these type of contracts? So when you go to the Daily Show, the suppliers there can go, hey, look, did you know we were just awarded this contract here? Because a lot of the buyers out there don't know that if they're not constantly going to VITA's website to check, okay, what's new and great here.
So once again, this is not only an opportunity to get FaceTime with Daily and our suppliers and our OEMs, but it's also, just like you said, an opportunity for people to come and see you and your folks and get that information and have those discussions with you, because the buying power of VIDA for an organization can be very powerful.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, when we have these contracts like this, it's open to all public bodies. So therefore, the discounts can greatly be affected by the localities or higher education or whoever's coming to these shows here, when they know going, hey, look, I've got this massive buying power here. I've got the best discount possible by going to Daily, seeing who's got these new contracts from the negotiation that we did, because we know that there's no one else that they can do this. So therefore, we have a in-depth analysis of the contract before awarding here. We know what the potential spend's going to be, and therefore we're able to pass on those savings to the customers at the end of the day.
Right. And we love the collaboration and the partnership that we have with VIDA, because just like you said, it's really opening those doors. It's bringing this contract vehicle, and it's not just for Virginia. That's one of the things that we made very clear, particularly when it came to AWS. It's open to public bodies. So, we have customers and prospective customers all around where we can sit there and say, look, we can have this discussion with you. We have a contract vehicle for you. We can certainly help you get the best pricing that you could possibly get.
Correct. Yeah. We don't limit our contracts are not limited to just the Commonwealth of Virginia here. We have Washington, D.C. using our contracts on a regular basis, Maryland, West Virginia. So multiple states are always using our contracts. So therefore, that just makes the buying power even greater and the discount possibly even better for everybody.
All right. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to talk about specifically this year's show, because I know that you've had a solid history. So this year we are taking the show once again in Richmond, but we're taking it to the Science Museum of Virginia. Is that a facility you've ever visited before?
I have. I took my kids there a long time ago.
And so let's just talk about that Science Museum atmosphere. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about technology and you're talking about, even the education space, but even the government space, you always talk about, the wonder of technology and how it's evolved. And here we are, we're going to a space that is truly dedicated to that type of message, where again, it's all about the wonder of it, how it's advanced, how amazed can we be by it? What are your thoughts on the location for this year's showcase?
I personally think it's a great venue. I just like what you're talking about here, that the technology and science, they go hand in hand. This is showing the kids, hey, look, if this is the area you want to go into, the science, do well in math and science, and your potential is great. But with this being at the Science Museum of Virginia there, it kind of goes hand in hand with the technology, with the vendors being able to showcase and just having that atmosphere of going, this all kind of connects together.
Definitely. And then I don't know if you've heard, but we've got a few surprises on the menu for this showcase. Well, I won't say surprises. I'll just say some special events. So we're going to be having a closing ceremony up in the Dome Theater, where we're going to have our own special Dome show, where it's going to be one of their immersive 360-degree events where they have the different movies. We're going to take a trip through the galaxy. It's going to be an interactive trip where they're going to turn on the whole planetarium aspect, and they're going to give attendees an opportunity to say where they want to go in the galaxy, and have the Dome Theater then take us there for that immersive type experience.
That sounds fun. That will get people to hang around.
So let me ask you this. If you had to pick somewhere in the galaxy to go and take that trip there, where do you think you would want to go?
not just probably not even really a specific planet, just seeing the Milky Way, or if they have the ability to because you from the movies and this and what I know about these things, a black hole, being able to go inside a black hole, because undoubtedly, if you ever really do that, you probably don't survive it, but somehow seeing what potentially that could look like.
I like that idea. I love the idea of just taking a cruise around the Milky Way too, because we've seen pictures, but to actually be able to just sort of fly through it, that to me would be really interesting. So, all right, Greg, if you had one bit of advice for somebody who is maybe a first-time attendee, since, again, you're one of our veterans, what advice would you give them for making the most out of their daily technology showcase experience?
And I apologize, you broke up, my headset broke up on that a little bit. Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, nope, not a problem. If you had one piece of advice to give to a first-time attendee, how to make the most of their experience, what would that advice be?
Make sure you show up before the event starts. Take your time. Go up to each table, even if it's something that you're going, well, I don't buy those products. Stop and talk to the suppliers. They're there to see everybody, and you might get some ideas going, well, yeah, but we don't buy this type of solution. But now you've given me an idea of maybe this is something we could look at down the future for another solution. Maybe we're going to implement maybe in another year or 2 years. Stop and talk to the suppliers. And then especially the ones that buy these type of commodities on a regular basis, talk to multiple ones, seeing who's got what. Does somebody have maybe a little advantage over somebody else, or is the pricing on the same level there? Talk to them, tell them your thoughts, tell them your concerns that you have back at the agency or locality, and see what they can do to come up with those advice. Come with business cards, or if y'all going to do the badge scanners, that it's even better for them to scan and make an appointment to talk to them after the event, so you can then spend more time. Have them come to your facility after the fact, but take your time. Do not rush through it. It's long enough that you've got enough time to go through, see all suppliers. Don't miss the classes. The classes have been phenomenal. The last one the one that really stood out for me was a class that the HP, one of the big executives from HP came there. That was one of the best classes that Daily has done by far in a long time. Take as many of those classes that you can. Obviously, if y'all are going to do what you're talking about here in the Dome, stay to the end. That's going to be so worth your time.
Definitely. And plan. I do like the idea of telling people to plan to stay for the day, because sometimes you get people who just want to pop in for an hour or two and then pop back out. But we have so many reasons for people to stick around. That Dome show at the end, for the closing ceremony, lunch, where we've got 3 different types of food trucks that are going to be there serving lunch at no cost to the attendee, thanks to our wonderful sponsors. We do have several breakout sessions where they're going to be talking about everything from physical security to data security. Our keynote this year is again provided by HP, and it's going to be one of their cybersecurity experts. So, obviously a lot to be learned from there. And then we even have some fun stuff. We have a country music singer, Barefoot Joe, who's going to be performing. And Nutsy from the Richmond Flying Squirrels is going to come over and
I love Nutsy.
Going to come around the show floor and take pictures with folks. So, yeah, trying to give them a lot to look forward to.
Ryan has done a phenomenal job at every venue that I have been to, whether it's been just a typical hotel venue. He's really up in his game this time for this one, for the Science Museum of Virginia, and I am really looking forward to this event.
All right, fantastic. Greg, we look forward to seeing you at the Technology Showcase. Thanks so much for taking the time with us today.
Anytime. Look forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Technology Pulse podcast produced by Daily. Before we go, we would like to remind you of a few legal considerations. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Daily or its leadership. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only and is not intended to provide legal, financial, or other professional advice. The content of this podcast is protected by copyright laws and may not be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted without the written permission of Daily Computers Inc. Any products, services, or other references mentioned in this podcast are for informational purposes only, and do not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Daily. Thank you again for listening. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact us at marketing@daily.com.